glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. Going to be talking playoff preparation. The 49ers finished their last day of practice in preparation for the wild card against the Seattle Seahawks. They've got it all set. They know exactly who they're playing with. They know exactly what they're planning on doing against Seattle. Now all they have to do is go out and execute, and chat is already going crazy. And there are questions. If this is Q&A, this is Thursday. Light up the chat with questions. Let's get into it. Let's have fun. I'm excited about it. It's 49ers. It's Seahawks. It's the rivalry that we've all been waiting for. This is going to be a fun episode. I'm looking forward to talking anything 49ers, anything about playoff preparation, these matchups, everything. And what's up to Spy Nick Danger? What's up, Donald? I bleed red and gold. How's it going? And Bobo with the super chat. Jess also in here. What's up, Jess? Jess says, look at the change up in the intro. Yeah, added a little bit, a little Christian McCaffrey, a little Brock Purdy action. What's up, traffic? But Bobo with the super chat. Thanks so much, Bobo, by the way. We are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I love it. I love the optimism. I love that thought. And it's Super Bowl season because you have to win these playoff games to be able to make the Super Bowl. One of the things that helps you go ahead and be able to get to the Super Bowl is being healthy. The San Francisco 49ers are as healthy as they've been in the playoff runs. They've had injuries. They had injuries in 2019. They had injuries in 2021. Right now, if you look at their injury report, they have 2 players listed in the injury report right now that are not going to be playing potentially in this game, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo and Ambry Thomas. You watch Cover 2 that came out earlier. I posed a question to Warren. I said, hey, Warren, Ambry Thomas, Warren loves Michigan, so he's very familiar with Ambry. I said, with Ambry having irritation in the ankle, does this now mean Ambry Thomas could potentially go on the IR and the 49ers could go ahead and move on and go with Jackrabbit Jenkins? I think Janoris could be somebody the 49ers bring up. That is a change that could be happening. Of course, they could still just elevate him for this week, leave him on the practice squad, and make that decision next week if needed, as long as they defeat the Seattle Seahawks, which I fully expect. But we had full participation in practice from guys who have been limited, pretty much all the last several weeks. Eric Armstead, full participation. Aaron Banks, he's officially back. Nick Bosa, he was official all the way. Flanagan Fowles, who was dealing with the neck, 100% in. Kevin Givens will be in that rotation. Dre Greenlaw, Javon Kinlaw, Christian McCaffrey. It's fantastic news for the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to be full ready to go. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I bleed red and gold says Bosa not getting defensive player of the year and CMC not making that all-star first team is going to light an even bigger flame. Let's go Niners. Get that number 6. Yeah, they're going to, they're going to be on fire. And me and Horst talked about on Slightly Offsides. He brought up that Tim Ryan said this is the most laser focused, or maybe it was Jay Hill on the A Hill show said they're the most laser focused that they've been. And that Tim Ryan said they're about business, they're about it. The Ant Hill show, of course, came out earlier today. That and Cover 2 are both available right here on 49ers Cutback. If you want to go check those out, pretty fun conversations. How's it going, David Campbell? Donald Johnson, I hope you guys are having good ones. David says, it sucks that we have to play the Seahawks again. Sneaky Pete is cooking up some trick stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, playing a team 3 times. I'd always heard that if you play a team 3 times, the team that won the first 2, it wasn't a good scenario for them. But looking at it, now looking at the numbers, the team that won the first 2 wins the third matchup 76% of the time. And when you're playing at home, it's into the 80 percentile. So I think the 49ers are feeling comfortable with that. But you're right. Not only are you playing Pete Carroll for a third time, but you're playing Pete Carroll and that defense that gets to see Brock Purdy for a second time. They will be the first team that has been able to play Brock Purdy, have film on Brock Purdy, and then try to figure out, how to negate what Purdy does. And I've been getting my film together for the scouting report video that I'm going to be putting out on Patreon. I'm going to record that after we go off air on this. It's not going to be a quick night for me as far as recordings, But I'm going to get all into that. It's exciting. I broke down not only some of the Seattle versus Rams game, but also the 49ers versus Seattle game from Thursday Night Football. There was some interesting things, some things they've done different, which D'Amico kind of brought up in his presser about the fact that they're doing different elements. Some of that is Wildcat with DJ Davis back there in the backfield. The way they're attacking with Kenneth Walker in that run game, it's a little bit different than what they've done on Thursday Night Football. Now, the 49ers defense is the great equalizer because they've been playing pretty well and they've been able to stop the run no matter who they're playing as long as they're healthy. And guess what? They're probably the healthiest they've been on defense in the front seven that they've been the entire year. So I'm excited about the opportunity of them going and stopping Kenneth Walker. He's an impressive back. He's got a lot of explosiveness. He's a little bit slippery and tough to bring down at times. But when you have linebackers like we have with Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, two of the better tacklers in the league, and Azeez Al-Shaair that can fly around. If Seattle tries to run their two tight end sets and keep Azeez on the field, I look for the 49ers to be very successful in the run stopping game. David Gamble says, I would have rather played Green Bay. I wanted Seattle. I'll be honest. I wanted them. I think that the 49ers match up so well against them because Charvarius Ward can play against big physical wide receivers. That's why, him and, A.J. Brown, like receivers like that, I like that matchup for Charvarius Ward. I think he can handle DK Metcalf, which means then when you're looking at the other receivers, they don't have Marquise Goodwin like they did on Thursday Night Football. They have Tyler Lockett, they have Cade Johnson, they have Laquan Treadwell. So what you do is if they put Lockett in the slot, you bracket cover him, you use Jimmy Ward, use Hufanga, or use a linebacker to go ahead and take Lockett away, Charvarius Ward with DK, and then you give help to Deommodore Lenoir depending on coverage. Sometimes you can just play zone coverage and allow Lenoir to play over the top with a linebacker taking an underneath stuff away. Or, at times put him in those man situations, but leave a safety over the top with like man two look, something like that. So I think that what it does, because they don't have a third legitimate weapon, whether that's at tight end with Will Dissly being out or at receiver, you've got matchups that are favorable for the 49ers secondary and linebacker group that D'Amico can play with. And if the 49ers are able to stop the run and stop Kenneth Walker early in this football game, they're going to be able to use Talanoa Hufanga to come after Geno Smith. Just last time in the Thursday night game, Geno didn't see Hufanga coming free off the edge. It was a strip sack. They did pounce on the football and get it back. But those types of plays are there as long as you can stop the run. And if the Niners can stop the run with 7, it's going to be a long day for the Seattle Seahawks. They need the run game. We're playing the Packers. You still deal with Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron hasn't been himself this season, but he's got a lot of speed in Christian Watson, and that's a 6'4" speedy guy, a tall guy in Allen Lazard. You can only put Charvarius Ward on one of those guys, and I worry about a little bit of the height with Deommodore Lenoir. It's one of those things I'm concerned with. Forkall says, TCC, sup, and 49ers fam, how's it going? Welcome to chat. Bobo says, 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I'm going to win the sexiest 49ers fan of the year. Me and Ant are the finalists for that. Woo, hey, thanks for putting me in the finals. I appreciate that. I didn't realize that that I was coming through as one of the sexiest 49er fans. I'll take the compliment, though. So thanks so much, Bobo, for that. Oh, that was fun. Donald says, I'm having a great week. Let's finish this week with a win. Yeah, right? Nothing better than capping off a great week than when the 49ers win. This seems to make everything better. And the fact that the 49ers are good the first game of the playoffs means you can sit back, enjoy the rest of the games on Saturday, enjoy the games on Sunday, the game on Monday, and just enjoy football, NFL football, knowing your team is already in the divisional round. As long as the 49ers do what they're supposed to do, secure that win against Seattle. I believe says they pissed off 2 of the most dangerous players on the roster. Complete disrespect shown to our guys. It's not uncommon for the 49ers to be disrespected by national media. West Coast bias is a real thing, and that's okay. Because when it comes down to it, individual awards they're great, and those things are cool, and you want to win those. You want to be considered one of the best, but you want to win a Super Bowl. That goal is what every player wants to do, and I think this team is locked into the fact that they want to win a Super Bowl, and they know what that means. So their focus is completely on the Seattle Seahawks and the task at hand, and that is defeating Seattle. And once they do that, then they can think about the next matchup, which will be watching to see what happens between Minnesota and New York. So I think these guys are going to be locked in. They're going to be off social media. They're going to be off, anything that has to do with reading press clippings are going to be locked into what they need to do and win. Bobo says winning a third game against the Seahawks will be sweet revenge for all those years losing to them. It definitely will feel good. It'll feel good, beating the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to be a team, the team that's not going to go away in the NFC West. They drafted well. Their team has gotten a lot better. I expect them to continue to get better. Pete Carroll's turned around this franchise before. He can do it again. So I think the 49ers, know that the Seahawks are coming, but you want to let them know who's boss right now. Don't even let them hang around like Nick Bosa said. Slam the door on them early. Don't even let them think they have an opportunity to be in this football game. When you have the chance to go up big and take care of them. And I'm hoping that the 49ers will do that in this game. And what's up to Matthew Raleigh? What's up to BB50? Welcome to chat. And Forktal says, only way 49ers lose is by committing unforced mistakes like fumbles and at inopportune times. Yeah, the turnover battle's real. If you watch the tail of the tape video that I did yesterday, the 49ers are plus 13 in turnover differential. They caused 30 turnovers, and they only gave up 17. It is the best mark in the NFL. The 17 turnovers that the 49ers gave up is the best mark in the NFL. The 30 that they caused, the best mark in the NFL. The 49ers have been on an absolute tear over the month of December as far as creating turnovers. They created 16 turnovers in the month of December. So the 49ers are trending in the right direction. Then when you look at Seattle, they're plus 2 in their differential. They've created 25 turnovers, but they've also gave up 23. 12. It's 12 interceptions, 11 fumbles for Seattle. They have had a turnover in every single game this season, but one. And I think that's the inevitability of what Seattle's going to do. They're going to turn over the football, and then you have to be the ultimate opportunist and take advantage of it. And when Travis Homer fumbled in the Week 15 matchup against the 49ers, Charvarius Ward got a nice return, and then the 49ers capped it off with a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. Those types of things are what you have to do. So it's not if Seattle's going to turn over the ball, it's when, and you have to take advantage of it. And then on the other side, you have to play mistake-free football. So you're right, Forktal. They would have to have a collapse, and I don't expect that to happen. We have guys who have been very secure with the football, but when you're fighting for extra yards, if you're Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, make sure you secure the football this week. I think that, there's opportunities for the 49ers to make some plays. But Seattle is dealing with injuries, and with Jordan Brooks being out, I think that's going to be huge for them. Yeah, he's been a big impact as far as stopping the run. Without him, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the 49ers run game. Donald says the Seahawks and the fans have no character. Some of the fans do. I actually know some good Seahawks fans. There's actually some good ones out there. So for some, I think that's the case with any fan base. But there's also good ones out there. So Matthew says, I am so scared of Seattle. History tells me will not be easy. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Of course, tomorrow, my game preview show, I will give my score prediction. Of course, wow, that's bold and all that. So, guys, join me tomorrow if you want. I'm going to go live tomorrow to talk 49ers versus Seahawks in the game preview show. But I think Seattle, to me, just the name itself, Pete Carroll, that's kind of scary. But then when you start looking, there's no Russell Wilson. The matchups against the 49ers favor the 49ers in a lot of categories. Do they have weapons in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? Absolutely. Is Kenneth Walker coming on the scene? Yes. Here's the problem. They just don't have that third weapon in the passing game. The 49ers have the weapons that they need. And that's kind of the difference between the two rosters. The 49ers extremely deep, a ton of weapons. Seattle still looking to get there. BV50 says every game the 49ers win against the Seahawks puts them in the all-time win volume. Yeah, I enjoy every time the 49ers beat the Seahawks. Over recent memory, I think that's the most relevant rival the 49ers have over the last, 10 to 15 years. Before that, there was other ones, whether it was Rams, Cowboys, Giants. But right now, it feels like the Seattle Seahawks are the most relevant, especially because, they're the second best in the division. Mark says, this isn't your father's Seahawks. Niners take care of business. You're right. All right. There's a lot of 12 fans right now that are all, 18 to 22 because they live through the Legion of Boom. And those guys are huge fans. They have no idea who Kurt Warner was. They have no idea who Steve Largent was. They don't know Warren Moon played there, but they're Seahawks fans, and that's okay. Yeah, this is not the same. This isn't the Legion of Boom. Now, he's trying to get there, and he's got some pretty good football players. That's the thing. Pete Carroll is trying to build this thing up. Tariq Woolen, was a huge pickup. They're expecting Kobe Bryant to play in that kind of area at some point because he's big, he's tall, he's fast. But it ain't there yet, and that's the thing. It's a building process. Getting Boy Mafi was huge, another edge rusher. But he's had a good year, not a great year. Kevin Grant says 49ers will beat Seattle. I think so too. Kevin Grant says 30-19. So putting the score out there, I like that. Traffic says, do the Seahawks make me nervous? Of course they do. Division rivals in the playoffs, but Niners beat them twice. They're a flat-out better team at almost every position. They need to just go and win. You're right. They're better. It's a deeper roster. It's a better coaching staff. I know Pete Carroll's got experience. He's got a Super Bowl, but the scheme and everything that Kyle Shanahan has put together is fantastic. I fully expect the 49ers to come out and handle business. And they've got a really good run game. And a lot of it's going to come down to the run game, and that's something I discussed on a couple of shows that came out today, was 49ers run game against Seattle's run game. Seattle rushed for 70 yards the last time they played San Francisco. The 49ers rushed for 170 yards. What a big difference that is between the two. So if you can establish a run game, especially if it's going to be raining, that's going to open up other things, open up easier passes, be able to move the pocket. You'll get Brock Purdy outside the pocket with nice throws where he doesn't have defenders in traffic. He doesn't have hands in the air, and he can get the ball to Kittle or to Debo. And the 49ers haven't played the Seattle Seahawks with a complete roster. In week 2, it was Trey Lance going down in quarter 1, Jimmy Garoppolo coming in, the 49ers rushing for 189 yards, but they had no George Kittle. They had no Christian McCaffrey. Then when they line up in week 15, you're coming in there and you got Brock Purdy injured with the rib. He's not 100%. But you're rolling in there without Debo Samuel. So you're finally going to get the full 49ers offense. And I think that's going to be fun. And what's up, Teddy? How's it going? What's up, Scott Hill? How's it going? Teddy's worried about Brock's small hands. It's a lot of it has to do with grip. I've seen quarterbacks that have small hands that are able to grab a big football and absolutely whip it and not have any worries about control. So if he has strength in his hands, he will be okay as far as the ball slipping. The referees do a pretty good job of maintaining that ball. When you'll have to worry about is when you get into 2-minute drill type situations and they're drying it off right there with the towel. As that towel gets wet, it gets a little bit more difficult. But I think Brock Purdy will be okay. He's played in the elements before in Iowa. I don't think this is going to be a concern. But you never know. It could be a great neutralizer. What's up, Scott? How's it going? He says, what's up, Ant? Hey, this team is special, doing special things. Let's effing go. I'm with you. It feels special. It just feels like it's the 49ers time. And now they have to go prove it on the field. They have to, no one's going to lay down and let the 49ers, get what they expect to get. They're going to have to go earn it. In the first matchup, Seattle. The 49ers have had huge divisional matchups in the playoffs before. They played the Rams. They've played the Saints. They played the Falcons. They had other matchups, through the years. And this is just another one. And they have to go out there and they have to take care of Seattle. And I think they, this is a beast that they know. And a lot of times going in and knowing exactly what you're going to see from an opponent is kind of welcoming because there's no surprises as far as personnel and scheme. Could there be plays? Yeah, there could be plays. But it's a lot different. It is a lot different. What's up, Paul? How's it going? Before I just missed it. Jesus Christ, my king said 35-17. I like that. I'll take that all day. But big Papa Paul is in the house. He says it's been frustrating watching the national media try and build up Seattle. That's their job. You know what I mean? And you're right. It's frustrating because they're trying to build up Seattle. I mean, I caught that as well. I heard some stats. They were talking about Seattle's defense, being in the top 7 over the last several weeks. And then you go look at their points per game and it's like, they're still giving up points. I mean, I know they slowed down Seattle. I'm sorry, they slowed down the New York Jets, but the Jets offense really hasn't been doing anything recently. So to me, that wasn't a big deal. So I just think that when it comes down to it, it's like, whatever, you know what I mean, with Seattle. I don't think their defense is anything special. I think they're still, a bottom team, bottom third in the league. So not really worried about them at all. And I think that's how the 49ers need to go in there and operate. Just go through your game plan, execute your plays. And what is up, Pete? How's it going? Welcome to chat. I hope you're having a good one. I bleed red and gold says, I don't mind kicking a dead horse if it's a Seahawks uniform. So run up the score. I think the 49ers are going to want to score at a high rate. They're going to want to get some chemistry within their offense. I don't think they're really worried about, what the score looks like. But, I mean, if you could get something like you got from Arizona where you get a significant enough lead where you can pull your starters and feel comfortable going in the divisional round, why not? I think the 49ers would do that. But that's what they're looking for. You don't sit back. This isn't a time where all of a sudden you start milking the clock. You get up and you stay up and you make sure you're handling your business, when you go ahead and you play these teams and you try to win. So I think the 49ers are going to be able to handle their business against Seattle Seahawks. But I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be a fun matchup, and there's a lot of cool rivalries as well in this game. And Kevin says, I am not a 49ers fan, but I think they are coming out of the NFC. I don't see a team in the NFC that plays the same defense as the 49ers. The 49ers have, flashed. I mean, their defense has been good. It was really consistent, and there was a stretch there where they were probably, one of the best defenses in the history of the NFL the way they were playing. Now, they've had some slip-ups over the last couple weeks. It wasn't all great against the Commanders. It wasn't great against the Raiders. But you can learn from those mistakes. You could see how other teams were approaching playing you. And it's not like those guys, are not good offensive coordinators. Those guys are pretty good, especially, what you got from the Raiders. I mean, they've got a good coach, and they were definitely putting out a good game plan. And Jared Stidham had a good game, and the 49ers didn't know what they were going to get. So I think it's going to be okay. I really do. I think it's going to be okay. See, David says, think Seattle tries an onside kick sometime early in the game. Also, look for a fake punt. Yeah, I think the special teams for Seattle's going to try to make some noise, and they have good special teams players. There was one advantage for Seattle against the San Francisco 49ers. It's the fact that they are the ninth best special teams ranked in the league, and the 49ers are the 14th, so are 13th. So there's an advantage there. It's not a huge advantage, but it's an advantage. So I do expect them to be aggressive. The 49ers have pretty much played punt safe, which means they leave their starting defense out there and they play in the punt situations on almost every 4th and short in a close game that I've seen this year. So Brian Schneider understands Pete Carroll coaching there. He understands what he does, and he's going to try to, make sure that, he's on the right track and make sure he doesn't let them get anything going. What's up, BV? BV says, Ant, do you think Shanahan will draw up plays with Debo and Christian lining up in the backfield? Absolutely. He did it last week. So last week he had Debo start out wide in the slot and Debo motioned in. And then he had Christian McCaffrey motion out and line up in the slot on the other side. When that happened, Debo then ran out in the flat. Christian McCaffrey went up the field, and Kyle Juszczyk in a man coverage got wide open over the middle of the field because everybody was looking at Debo Samuel going out over here after McCaffrey had already taken the attention of somebody over here. So using those two guys in the backfield is a good point, because what you do is a lot of times you're going to get one of them matched up on a linebacker, because once they motion in, the type of formation you have, a lot of times linebackers, the safeties are going to have to cover them, and that's a mismatch. And we saw that a little bit against Green Bay last year with Debo. He got matched up on linebackers. He's able to run circle routes and Texas routes and get open over the middle and then make plays. So I think that that's, kind of where we want it to be. I think it's going to be good for the 49ers. So I do expect to see that a lot, and how that, how you're able to handle that. It's going to be fun, because Seattle's, last time Ray goes this way, pump fake. Christian goes that way, pump fake. George Kittle over the middle, touchdown 49ers. So I think it's going to be huge, and Kyle moving those guys around is going to open it up for all kinds of players. But I think it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, Pete says Cincinnati better worry about Buffalo and KC, not us. I mean, that's going to be crazy. Whoever comes out of that, that AFC, they deserve to get to the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl will get here, before we know it. And Forktal says Al Woods is on IR. No, he always gives us problems. I don't believe he's on IR. Let me look at the injury report. I don't think so. I thought he was practicing. So he was a full participation in practice. So Al Woods is playing. For the most part, Seattle is fully healthy from everything I can see. Ryan Neal wasn't even listed on the injury report. The only one listed as questionable, and this one's a big one, is Shelby Harris. Shelby Harris is somebody that can wreck a 49ers team, but it looks like the Seahawks are pretty much healthy with who they've been playing so far. I mean, they've lost guys along the way, of course, but the guys they've been rolling with the last several weeks, they're all healthy and ready to go, the same as the 49ers. The 49ers have gotten more guys back, so it should be fun. This is different than week 15. What's up, Robert? How's it going? Welcome to chat. Says, I think it will be a low-scoring game due to the weather. 21-13 49ers. I like it. I'll take a victory. I don't care if it's a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game, whatever it is. 21-13, the same as the Thursday matchup, that the 49ers played in week 15, so we'll take it. Bubble says ESPN got us losing to the Bills in the Super Bowl 27-17. I'm just wondering how that Bills defense is going to hold the 49ers to 17 points. ESPN might want to rethink that. This 49ers team has been scoring 33.8 points per game with Brock Purdy at the helm. I think Buffalo's defense would have some problems stopping this 49ers offense. I'm not saying that score is impossible, but to me, that's improbable. I think that would be an interesting matchup, though, because they got some skills. Josh is pretty good up there. He's pretty good. I believe says they got enough attention to even bring haters to a 49ers channel. Welcome, Teddy. That's what it looks like to have a real fan base. It's funny. Welcome. And then, yeah, Teddy's always welcome. He's having some fun in chat. Everyone is. Let's see. I believe says Bosa and CMC gonna play with a chip on their shoulder. This will be a statement game. I think the 49ers are gonna just be locked in. The whole crew. They want to make a statement to themselves that, hey, this is our moment. You got to go out there and you got to handle business, and you got to make sure, that you do everything that you're supposed to do. And I think that's where the 49ers are. What's up, Ziggy? Welcome to chat. Glad to have you here. And Fort Call says getting Mitchell back in time for the playoffs is a godsend. Running back room is going to be at full strength. I mean, I'm trying to think of a room that's not at full strength. Probably the cornerback room, because you lost Emmanuel Mosley, so you can't be full strength there. Safety room is, though, because of how good they played there. The defensive line, full strength. The linebacker room, full strength. Wide receiver room, full strength. Offensive line, full strength. Tight end room, full strength. I mean, quarterback room and cornerback room, right? I mean, because you lost 2 starting quarterbacks. Those are where you're not full strength. But, I mean, I would argue that Brock Purdy's playing as good as any quarterback the 49ers have had on their roster the entire season. So it's kind of cool. Orktal says Mitchell looked like a beast last week. Yeah, he was running people over. He was running hard. He was running physical. He was making plays. He averaged over 11 yards per carry. It's good. I mean, it's really, really good. Orktal says Woods worries me. The inside guys, can worry you. The 49ers have had some success on the edge. You can take advantage of those guys that want to be aggressive on the interior. You can let them come upfield. You can go ahead and wham block them with George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk. A wham block is basically a trap with an off-ball player like a tight end or a fullback. Or you can go ahead and just trap them normal. Send Aaron Banks after him or double team him at the point of attack. So I think that, there are ways to go about it. I think that they do have some pretty good edge rushers too. Those guys are no joke. Nwusu, Bruce Irvin, they got some good players on the edge. They're not big though. So that's where the advantage comes in, because the 49ers know that, yes, they got size. Shelby Harris, Al Woods are no joke on the interior. But the guys on Darrell Taylor, Bruce Irvin, those type of guys, and Nwusu, not the biggest guys. So you can get some movement there. And what the 49ers have done, what they did against the Rams last year, was they would get an initial push by like a tight end or a tackle, usually a tight end. He would hit that guy on the edge, and he would start pushing. And then you would motion someone, whether it was Kyle Juszczyk or another tight end, and they would come running full speed, or like they did with Jawan Jennings and some of those guys. They run full speed, and they help get an extra push to create a nice bubble in the defense to be able to run the football off tackle. That's something you can do against Seattle. For one, they're aggressive in the style at which they play. And then second of all, because those guys aren't very stout against the run. They're not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad, but not as stout. David says, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would bet the Seahawks plus 10.5. I think the Niners win, but I believe it could be close. It could. We'll see how the weather plays into that too as well, David. But you never know how these matchups are going to go. Robert says the run defense will be the key to winning this game. Seattle's run defense isn't that good. It's not. And, the 49ers have almost rushed for 350 yards in 2 games against them. But Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks running game's gotten it going over the last 2 weeks. Can they do that against the 49ers? They did it against the Jets. They did it against, the Rams. But the Rams are a shell of themselves. So I don't know. Ziggy says, how many sacks do we get this week? I think they're going to get 4. I think 4 is the number. I think they're going to, they're going to get after Geno Smith. It depends on how well they stop the run. If they're stopping the run at the rate that they have stopped them in the first 2 matchups, they're going to be able to get after the quarterback at a high level. Bosa's going to get after him. They're going to bring blitzes. Geno struggles with the 49ers blitzes. They confuse him consistently, with what they do as far as shell coverages and that sort of thing. They confuse him, and then they bring a blitz somewhere he's not expecting, and they get free guys running at him. Those are ways to handle it. I think one thing that's concerning is Geno's legs. They have to make sure they keep their rush lane integrity, which they did over the first 2 matchups. There's a couple runs here and there where he extended drives, but I think that they can go ahead and make some plays on him, and there's some things that are open to get sacked. So I think 4, I would say over under 4 is probably, a good number. Paul says, just got word from a friend. He needs someone to go with him to the game. Should be a blast, maybe a little wet, but still fun. There you go, Paul. Paul getting to go to the game. That's great. I hope you have a good one. Yeah, stay dry. But that'll be a lot of fun. That's awesome. David Villa, how's it going, David Villa? Welcome to chat. Always good when David Villa comes through. So what's up, Faithful and Ant? Niners the best. We gonna take it all the way, baby. Love it. Yeah, we are. Portal says totally. Donald, we got the best backfield by a lot. Yeah, we do. Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, TDP. It's spectacular. So I'm really enjoying, what this roster looks like. And they're stacked right now. They're just really, really stacked. Bobo says we got to stop giving up long bombs on opponents' first possessions. You're right. You can't allow, first possession touchdowns. You can't be put in a hole, especially in the playoffs. That's not what you want to do. The 49ers, they've dealt with that a little bit. They could definitely be better, at that. And I think they're going to. I think they're really going to get after Seattle in this matchup. I think they're going to come out with a very good game plan. DeMeco Ryans is locked in. This 49ers team understands what they're getting, what those skills look like. Will they try to take a shot to DK Metcalf? Probably. I can expect them to run some sort of max protection, potentially try to, get a lot of time for Geno to load one up against DK Metcalf in one-on-one coverage. But I think what the 49ers could do is, even if Seattle loads up, is show them a favorable run box and, and leave the safeties over the top. Make Seattle prove early in this football game that they can run the ball consistently with Kenneth Walker against your 7-man front, and leave Gibson over the top and Hufang over the top, and don't let them play in the box. And if they can't run the football against your front 7, well, then it's going to be a long day for them. And if they do try to throw it up, you make sure you go get that football. And I think Charvarius Ward's going to be on DK. So if it's a jump ball situation, you could get an early turnover. It was just last week that on the first play of the game, Geno Smith threw an interception over the middle, trying to sneak the ball into DK Metcalf. So, he's going to put the ball in an opportunity where you can go get it. Just get it. And Donald says, for some reason, I have Bosa having a great game, probably the best of his career. Ooh, I like where Donald's going with that. Yeah, I want specifics on tomorrow's Wow, That's Bold. Bring that to Wow, That's Bold tomorrow. Bobo says we got to stop giving up the long bombs. That's what you said earlier. My bad. I read it again. I guess I liked it so much, Bobo. So yeah. Forecall says 49ers defense gets like 4 sacks with Seattle having those young tackles, in my opinion. They do. They have young tackles on the team, and those tackles are Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. I like Abraham Lucas a lot. But those guys are going to have their hands full with the 49ers. There's going to have to be chips. There's going to have to be help. Running backs are going to have to give help. And we'll see how they end up handling it. But you're right. That's going to be interesting matchups. And let's see, who steps up. Jordan Willis has been having a really good end of the season. Maybe he'll continue that into the playoffs. Maybe he's earned some more snaps. We'll see. Travis says we got to stop giving up those third and forever as well. I'm with you. Those are really important. Stop giving up those third and long conversions. That's how getting off the field is important. I think they can do that. And that's what Paul's saying too. Third and long worries me. Love to see the 49ers correct this. I think they're going to. I think that, they've let a couple quarterbacks that they weren't really concerned about, extend those drives. I think they're going to be locked in, stay in their lanes. I think D'Amico, part of the reason he's brought blitzes is to go ahead and create the extra layer to those lanes for the quarterback to be able to run. When you bring Hufanga off the edge, you can, kind of congest the interior a little bit more, but still have a speed guy on the outside. That if the quarterback takes off to run, you have a guy there. So bringing 5 guys definitely makes it easier to keep a quarterback pinned inside the pocket. David Campbell says, I think Geno could be seeing some ghosts after this Week 15 game. He was looking very uncomfortable, scared at the end of that game. He was. I think they had the one real successful drive. He ended up checking it down. The drive wasn't going great, but then he hit Kenneth Walker on a check down, and Walker was wide open it was a blitz. It didn't work out, and he got all the way down inside the 10. And then it was a breakdown by Hufanga on the next play for a touchdown. Besides that, they haven't scored any. They scored one offensive touchdown against the 49ers. It hasn't been spectacular for Seattle. So, I think he's gonna be worried about some things, and he's gonna give the 49ers opportunities. They just have to capitalize on them, and I think they can do it. They've been proving that they can do it. Bobo says, I find it to be a distraction that teams are interviewing D'Amico Ryans during the playoffs. I think it's only a distraction to us. Because I think the team knows that this is the business, this is what it's about. And D'Amico knows that as well. I think D'Amico is going to focus on the task at hand. He knows that, they can only do Zoom interviews right now anyways, because he's in the playoffs. So I fully expect for, D'Amico Ryans to, tighten the hatchets and be ready to go. He's going to be fine. And I think the 49ers, players, they're not worried about that. They're not worried about where people are going to be. What they're worried about is the Seattle Seahawks. Paul says, game 1, no Kittle. Game 2, no Debo. Game 3, annihilation. Love that. Yeah, let's get all those guys out there and let's go handle business. I think it could be. Ziggy says, I think Huff gets an interception this week. I would love that. Yeah, let's get Huff out there playing instinctive and making a play. That would be really, really good. And Oregon Life says 100% rain on Saturday with 15 to 25 mile per hour winds. Yikes. Yeah, I live right out here. I live out here. I go to San Jose all the time, and it's going to be, there's going to be some weather. Now, what exactly that's going to look like, I don't know, because out here in Northern California, they've said some days we're going to be terrible, and then they ended up being mild. So we don't know exactly. Now, the weather has changed the updates throughout the week. Just a few days ago, they were saying it was going to be 1 inch of rain on Saturday. That has changed to a half inch of rain, with a quarter inch being, the first part of the day and a quarter inch in the last part of the day. So it could definitely change over the next, 48 hours. We'll see. But I think, no matter what happens, you have to go out there and play the game. And Seattle will be dealing with the same elements the 49ers are. And you know what? If a team wants to throw the ball vertically down the field, that's the way to beat the 49ers. And it's got a lot of wind. Sign me up for that. All of a sudden, Geno's ball starts flying, 5 yards to the inside where Talanoa Hufanga picks it off. Sounds pretty good to me. So it can pay dividends for the 49ers. And, we talked about the 49ers are plus 13 in turnovers. They don't turn over the football very much. A wet football could mean Seattle turns over the ball even more. Who knows? It's interesting. I bleed red and gold says they should flex the game to Sunday. If the weather sucks, that would be ideal. Yeah, it could be. I think the thing is get through the game with a win. Then the schedule sets up for you, because if Minnesota wins, you play them on Saturday the next week. You're on a full week. They're not. They're 6 days. If the New York Giants win, then you're playing the winner of Tampa Bay against Dallas, and you're playing them on Sunday. And you get an extra day that way. So either way, it works out for you pretty good. So I think the 49ers, once they get through this game, are going to feel comfortable. They just have to go out there and handle business against Seattle, rain or shine or whatever it is. Forktail says, Ant, are you concerned about Lockett or Metcalf more? I'm not really concerned about Metcalf because of Charvarius Ward. So I think my worry after that would be Lockett, because I don't think Cade Johnson or Laquan Treadwell are legitimate threats to do anything else. But what that means is if Charvarius Ward really can limit DK Metcalf by himself like he did last time, 4 catches, 33 yards, then that means you can bracket cover Tyler Lockett. That means you can put 2 guys on him, and you can do it from all different angles. Sometimes it could be Jimmy Ward and Dre Greenlaw. One to the outside, one to the inside. The next time it could be Gibson, and whatever it is. There's just a lot of ways that you can go ahead and cover that second guy. I think if they had a third guy, like if they had Goodwin with that speed, then you could have some some worries about those guys. But I think I am more worried about Tyler Lockett because last game he still had 6 catches for 88 yards. It was very quiet, but he still did it. Now when he was on Jimmy Ward, he only had 2 catches. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, Lockett's still a very experienced guy. So I think that's okay. Ziggy says, I am concerned about Lockett. He usually plays good against us. Yeah, he does. And, I believe it says Ward shut down Metcalf perfectly. He did. He really did. And thanks, everyone, for joining me for this show. I really had a lot of fun interacting with all of you, talking about 49ers playoff preparation. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a live stream about the game preview show. Come hop onto that. Looking to do it around noon. So if you guys are available, hop on for that. If not, catch the replay after that. We're almost there, guys. It's almost time for that. So really, really appreciate it. Everyone, I hope you guys have a good day. I got to go record a couple more things, but all kinds of content on the channel. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. If you're watching for the first time and you feel like giving a subscription, please do that. I really appreciate it. But thanks, everyone, for watching. Stay safe, and remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.